welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. So today I just want to talk about the all men or all women are the same syndrome. Now, don't be playing like y'all don't know, like y'all don't be saying that, because a lot of us do. What happens is we tend to get into relationships and we don't realize that we're following the same pattern. Like, you may get with somebody and they break your heart. You get with someone else, they break your heart. You get with someone else, they break your heart. And we put it on other people instead of saying, what is it in me that's choosing this kind of person? What is it that makes me feel like this is the kind of person that I deserve? Why can't I look for something different? Because we're essentially dating the same person, just in a different body. So we're kind of, just switching out outfits on the same body. And we, in return, blame other people for that. Oh, all men are the same. All women are the same. I'm not wasting my time. No, you are wasting your time, because not all women and not all men are the same. I mean, look at yourself. For example, if you feel like you're a good man or you're a good woman, do you want someone to say that you're the same as somebody who dogs someone else out? Would you want someone new to say that they would date you, but you're just gonna be horrible and a manipulator and a user, just like their ex was? And you know that that's not your character, that's not the type of person you are, you wouldn't. So instead of saying, oh, all men and all women are the same, and there's no good people out here, and all the good ones are in relationships or they're taken by other people, stop saying that. Because just like my grandma tells me all the time, if you have that type of mindset and you're feeling like, well, all people are the same, I'm already going into a relationship or trying to go into a marriage with the mindset that this person is going to be just like all the rest of the men out here, not giving them any credit because it's what I feel or what I've seen constantly happening. So it's a way of protecting myself by saying, oh, well, I'm already looking for red flags with you, so you can't hurt me. It's the same. You're going to hurt yourself even worse in the end, especially if that person is not like the other people that you've dated and they turn out to be a good person, and then they walk away from you because you're already thinking you're just a bad person and you're going to hurt me, you're going to cheat on me, you're going to beat on me, you're going to lie to me, whatever the case is, whatever your belief is about that particular sex. So what my grandma has said, she said, if you're already thinking that way before you even meet the person, then there's no reason, there's no point of you going out here searching for a relationship or marriage or any type of commitment with anybody on that level if you're already thinking that they're bad, because it's in the end it's going to make you miserable and it's not fair to that person, because you're always going to be looking for something to go wrong to prove your point, because your mind is saying to you that all men and all women are the same. So with that being said, there's nothing no one can do, because no one can change your mind. You're the only one who's responsible for changing your mind. And if you are telling yourself that all people are the same, you can't trust this certain sex of people, this certain gender of people, this certain culture of people, whatever, because of things that you've gone through, it's not fair, because that person's not going to be able to change your mind. They can jump through hoops and show you all kinds of things that are amazing about them, about their character, but you're still going to find a way to say, nope, I don't believe it. It's just a trick that they're using, to hurt me because someone else did that before and they hurt me. You have to stop thinking like that, because it's not true. At the end of the day, that's the only thing you really need to know, is that it's not true. All men and all women are not the same. And if you're looking for love, if you're looking for a serious commitment, you have to change that mindset, because you're going to make yourself miserable as well as the person that you're trying to build a relationship with you're going to make them miserable because they're always going to have to pay for something, some fear that you have, or something that someone else has done to you. Think about this. Everybody you meet, everyone you date is not necessarily meant to be in your life long term. Sometimes people are just sent into your life to teach you a lesson or to show you what you don't want, so that when you meet the person that is for you, you know exactly what you do want, what you're willing to tolerate, and how far you're willing to go to have it. Stop thinking that everybody that you get in a relationship with or you like and likes you back is the person for you, because that's not true. And I believe that's part of the reason why we have that mindset of, well, all people are the same, because we run into a bunch of frauds, a bunch of people who may not be meant for us. We attach to them, especially if you're the type of person who doesn't like to be single, which is very unhealthy on your end. You have to learn to be single, because in your singleness is when you have time to grow and to figure out who you are on your own. You don't need somebody else in order to figure out what you like and what you don't like. You need to go within yourself and figure that out before you meet the person, because what's going to happen is you find somebody and you're like, oh, I like this about this, but I don't like this about this. Or I enjoy doing this with him or her, but I don't enjoy doing that. And then it's like you're not accepting that person for who they are, because then you're trying to change them to fit what makes you comfortable, when you already should have known from the beginning what made you comfortable. So then when that person came into your life and they were portraying certain things that you already knew you wasn't going to feel comfortable with, you could have already said, I like you, but I don't think it's going to work on this level. And it would have saved you heartache and saved them stress. So being single, is nothing wrong with that. Does it get lonely? I wouldn't say lonely. It does get boring at times. And sometimes when you are on Instagram and Facebook and surfing the web, and you're seeing all these great pictures and love, and certain holidays come up where it's about family and about relationships, romantic trips and things like that. Yes, sometimes it's like, wow, that sucks. You, in a sense, if you're thinking about doing it with someone else, you can't do that. But you can always date yourself until the time comes, until it's time for you to be in a relationship. But while you're waiting for your time to be in a relationship, you need to work on your mind and what you're choosing to believe about the gender that you like. You need to be fair, think more fairly, because like I said, you wouldn't want someone to be like, you're an amazing person, but you remind me of my ex, or you remind me of a person who hurt me back when I was in my teenage years, or you remind me of a person I seen on TV. And you wouldn't want that. So don't do it to somebody else. Don't do to other people what you don't want done to you. And when I think about how I was one of those people who was just like, oh, well, all people are the same. You just got to kind of deal with things because people are going to treat you this way, because this is what I attracted in my past and this is what I'm used to, and it's my bad choices. You shouldn't be trying to make someone pay for your bad choices. Instead, you should be learning from it. So think about this. Have you ever had a bag of apples? Let's say a family-sized bag of apples, and you let the apples sit, a week goes by, and then some of them start to go bad. And you're like, oh no, I forgot about the apples. They're going bad. I'm going to go ahead and eat one because they're going bad. You start going through the bag of apples and you're pulling out apples. Some of them got brown spots. Some of them, are, they're really mushy. Some of them may have already broken open and started to dry out. And you're just like, man, all these apples are the same. They're all bad. That's what you're thinking, right? And then it just so happened that somewhere in the mix, you found one apple that is still edible. One apple that it may not be perfectly firm, but it's not super soft. It may not be perfectly bright green like it was before. It may have gotten a little dim, but it's still, an apple that you feel like you can still eat. Where you eat the apple and you find like, oh, but it was really good. That's the same as dating. Sometimes, well, all the times, you're going to have to really put in the work and search for somebody who fits the qualities that you like, which means that you need to be working on yourself while you're single. In your single phase, you need to be working on yourself so that you know what you're looking for and you can work through all those bad apples. And know that when you do find an apple that is appealing to your eye, but it may not be perfect, it may not be exactly how you wanted it to be, because like I said, you may have bought that bag of apples and they were ripe and beautiful, the color was deep, and they look gorgeous, and you just let time go by and they started to go bad. So but then you find an apple in that bag. Luckily you find one that is still edible, it still looks good, it's not exactly the way maybe you like firm apples, maybe you like big apples, or maybe this one was a little bit smaller than what you liked, and whatever. It could be something a little off about it that you may not have intended to, when you bought the bag of apples, to have to eat. So that's how it is in relationships. You need to know that you may find somebody who is not exactly what you're looking for, but it's close enough. It's never going to be exactly what you're looking for, because let's be honest. We all have unrealistic desires and thoughts of the type of person that we want. Like, we envision this person who doesn't exist. If we all wrote down exactly what we're looking for in a mate, they're not gonna, it's almost like a robot or something. Like, everything is so perfect. They do everything so perfect. They look gorgeous. They are, top started, making all the money. They're just awesome people. That person doesn't exist. But maybe, for those of you who have found relationships, if you look back on your list, you can say like, okay, not everything is exactly what I wanted, but 90% of what I wanted or what I was looking for in a mate, this person is. That's how it is. That's the analogy that I'm using for the bag of apples. If I would have just thrown the whole bag of apples away, I would have never found that one apple that was still salvageable. And so that's how you have to look at it with dating, with trying to find love. You need to stop just saying, well, all men are the same, all women are the same. I'm just not going to date. I'm just not going to try anymore. I'm just going to, be by myself. Just forget it. Because if you give up, you'll never find that one apple that is salvageable. You'll never have the opportunity to find it. And so what if you have a bag of apples and you don't find any of the apples that are salvageable, but then you get another bag of apples and you try again. You know what I'm saying? And you just keep going through it until you find what you're looking for. You don't just give up, and you don't just change your mind to think that everybody's the same, everybody's out to hurt you, because it's not true. You need to know that the reason that you're attracting the same type of person, the person who is the person who does hurt you, the person who does lie to you, the person who does use and misuse you and things like that, is because it's within you. You haven't done the work that you need to do on you in order to attract the person that you want. It sounds crazy, right? But that's how it is. When you're looking for love, that love starts from the inside of you out. So what you are on the inside, if you're going around saying all men are the same, all women are the same, guess what? You're going to attract all the same people who their personalities and their characters resemble. If you're walking around saying I don't like me, guess what? You're going to find somebody who don't like you either. They may use you for sex. They may use you for your money. They may use you just so they don't have to be bored doing their single time, their single period. But they don't like you. They don't like you enough to commit to you. They don't like you enough to marry you. You're just all right in their eyes because you don't like you. So why do you expect them to like you? If you're walking around saying You know, I'm never going to find love. I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to have the family that I want. Guess what? That's never going to happen. You're going to find people. You're going to constantly get into relationships with people because it's bound to happen. You're going to get into relationships with people who are going to give you just what you're telling yourself you're going to get. So all the love and things that you really want, but you're speaking and saying it and dwelling on you're not going to have it, those are the people that's going to come into your life, the people who's not going to be willing to give it to you. And so that's why you think that everybody's the same. That's why you feel like every person I meet are exactly the same. Because you're attracting those people to you. Change your mindset. Even if you see it, even if you feel like you're crossing the same paths all the time, that's when you just need to know. Sometimes things are just a test. Sometimes, you know, you can say, well, I've outgrown this portion of my life. I'm not settling for this anymore. And then here comes Mr. Dark, Tall, and Handsome. Here comes Miss Curvy and Voracious. Here they come to you. Looking good, smelling good, offering all kinds of things, but their character is still the same. That's what you say you wasn't going to deal with. You say you wasn't going to deal with somebody who talks crazy to you. You say you wasn't going to deal with somebody who doesn't have the same beliefs as you. You said you wasn't going to deal with somebody who was flirtatious and someone who was unfaithful, someone who was abusive, someone who, you know, who was disrespectful, and the list goes on. And this person may have great qualities, because everybody has great qualities. Let's be honest, we all do. But our character may not be what someone else is looking for. So you meet these people, and that their characters have something that you said and you promised yourself, and you promised your higher being that you wasn't going to deal with anymore. They may have that, and this is your chance to show and prove that you're not going to settle for it. And what happens is you settle for it, and then you have to keep on relearning the same thing that you have to keep on retaking the same exact test because you keep failing it. That is why you're thinking everybody is the same. It's not them. You need to look in the mirror and say, it's me. It's me. It's I'm not learning what I need to learn here. I'm keep dealing with the same thing. I keep searching for the same woman. I keep searching for the same man. I keep hurting myself. Stop blaming them. I mean, yes, I understand it's so much easier to blame things outside of our own selves because we like to feel like we're a victim a lot of times, but you're really not. Because in order for somebody to be in your life, you have to allow them to be in your life. You have to grant them access to be in your life. That means that you should be vetting that person enough to know for sure if they're people who can or should be in your life. And then by that time, if you allow them, if you see all the red flags, but you're choosing to believe that they'll be different or you can change them, which you cannot, but you allow them into your life and you be with them, even though you know that they have things about them, they have traits about them that you said that you was not going to deal with, then that's your fault. It's not theirs. Stop blaming other people. Stop taking the easy way out and saying it's their fault because they hurt me. It's their fault because they're liars. It's their fault because they're cheaters. It's their fault because they didn't tell me they were married or whatever. You chose to deal with it. At some point, even if they didn't be honest in the beginning, at some point, you're going to know. And when you find out, what are you going to do about it? You know, are you just going to sit there and stay and wait for them to become better people, to have better character? Or are you going to say, absolutely not, I am leaving this alone and walk away? That's the only two choices that you have. And the choice that you make is going to determine whether you pass or fail that test and how many more tests, same test, you're going to have to take with just different writing on it. Different questions. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same test, ultimately. So, I'm just saying, like, we have to change our mind. We have to. And we have to find a way to We have to find a way to understand that other people are not the problems when they're coming into our lives and we're accepting them to be in our lives. We have to start realizing that it's not always their fault. We play a huge part in that. No one could be in our life unless we allow them to be. No one can do anything to us unless we allow it. Because when I touch that his hand, you know, even if they, let's say someone puts their hands on you, once it happens the first time, you should pack your bags and be gone. But if you keep going back and you keep having that happen to you, you can't just sit back and cry and say it was their fault, because it was your fault. You knew that that was the kind of person that they were. Stop trying to think differently. Stop accepting the apologies. Stop accepting the excuses. Stop making up excuses. Stop trying to change people and just accept it for who they are. And that way you don't waste time, you know, hoping and wishing that things would change. And you don't waste years of your life onto something that you know that is not good for you, or you don't get so accustomed and so comfortable with it that you start drawing that type of relationship in all the time. Because when we rest in comfortability, that's what's going to keep coming to us. Things that makes us feel comfortable. So if you're constantly sitting back and saying, okay, I'm comfortable with the person that yells at me. I'm comfortable with the person who treats me bad. I'm comfortable with the person who lies to me. That's the type of people who are going to come to you, because you are not willing to get uncomfortable in order to grow and to get to the next place where you're like, I am not accepting this anymore, and you put your foot down. So with that being said, no, all men and all women are not the same. Your choices are the same. What you're attracting are the same. What you allow in your life is the same. Ultimately, you're the person that's drawn in that person. You're the person that's dating you. That's it. And until you work on yourself, until you work on change, until you work on becoming a better person, until you work on a healthier mind and stop trying to hide behind this all women and all men are the same, and have this guard up and, you know, stressing people out, trying to find a way to make what you believe to be true a reality for on somebody else's life, or trying to make it a reality in general, trying to prove a point to yourself that all men and women are the same, you're not going to get very far. Until you stop, you're not going to get very far. You're going to continue to have the same person show up every time, every single time. So instead of blaming other people and blaming races, cultures, genders, etc., for your bad decisions, for what you've accepted that you knew that you should not have accepted, instead of putting them in a box and saying you're all the same, I'm pushing you in the corner, but you won't love, that makes no sense. You kind of, you know, it's not making any sense. Change your mind before you get into a relationship. Change your mind before you start dating, and figure out what it is you really want. And everyone who comes into your life, everyone that you meet, everyone that you encounter, start mentally. Don't be trying to go interrogate people, but mentally check off things as you get to know them. You know, are they fitting into what I want? And you don't change them. Don't try to say, well, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what you better be. I'm not putting up with this, because guess what? That's what that person's going to do. They're going to pretend to be exactly what you say you do or don't want in order to get you. And then later down the road, their true colors are going to show. Their mask is going to come off. And then again, you're going to be saying, see, this is what I'm talking about. All people are the same. All men are the same. All women are the same. No. The way that you go into trying to get to know a person is the same. You're telling them you're showing all your cards. And then when people play off your cards, you're winning cards. Why not? I mean, they're trying to win you over for whatever reason. You're showing them all your cards, and they're like, oh yeah, great, I'm gonna play that card, I'm gonna play this card, I'm gonna play that card. And then you mad at them because they can't uphold that standard, because that's not who they truly are. It's just, they may like you a lot, they may want to have sex with you, they may want money from you, they may you know, just something about you that they like in some type of way. They want something from you. So in order to get that, they know that they have to get close to you by liking the same things you like, by showing up as the person that you say that you're looking for. And then you end up right back in the same position where you figure out later on that that person is not that kind of person, and you feel like all people are the same when, like I said, no, you're teaching them how to be the same in your life instead of allowing them to be who they are. And first of all, knowing yourself enough to know that when they show you who they are, to know when you need to let go or when you can continue to stay with that person. That's how you're going to get out of that vicious cycle of attracting the same person. And you need to start to like you. You need to love you, so then you can attract people who will love you too. You need to respect you, so you attract people who respect you too. You need to care for you, so that you attract people who will care for you too. So that's my thoughts on the all men and all women are the same syndrome. And I know it was a long video. I really do hope that you guys got something from it and that you understand what I'm trying to say. And if this is you, I've been there. I still am there in working on myself. That's why I am still single, because I don't want to hurt somebody else by having this mentality, or and I also don't want to jump into a relationship without fully knowing exactly what I want and what I'm looking for. So you should do the same. You know, if you are single, if you are, you know, in a situation where you're tired of feeling alone or being alone or whatever it is, and you feel like you're ready to date, then you just need to take that time and start really working on yourself. Really working on yourself and really know what you want to. So then when you do meet people, you'll know how to weed them out. Weed out the people who are not best for you. Weed out the people who you don't feel are will genuinely make you happy. So that's my take on it. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment box below. Share your thoughts. Share, you know, if you've been through this before, if you know what I'm talking about, share your thoughts so that someone else can learn as well, and we all can teach each other. You can teach me as well, and we will definitely talk next time. Bye.